W.E.B. Du Bois writes about the concept of double consciousness. And in my mind, this is not only of being aware of who you are and how you are, but also how you are perceived by the group in power. So when you put it simply like that, I do believe other groups can resonate with the idea of double consciousness, whether it be differences in race, class, ethnicity, religion, sexual preference. There are all kinds of ways that we are different from one another, and how being aware of how others perceive us may influence our actions and our access to resources and our ability to interact with groups and things of that nature. But I do want to caution us on being too broad with that brush stroke. Just because I feel different doesn't mean I get what double consciousness means. We have to remember that W.E.B. Du Bois was writing this in the early 20th century. So this is on the heels of the Civil War. And when he's writing this, he has two really important concepts in his mind. One is that he's referring to people with power, and he's basically saying, I am someone as a black man who has no power, and I have to be aware of how the group in power perceives me, or else I can't be successful. And I may not ever have access to their power, so I have to develop power within myself. And as an African American, I have that within me, in my heart, in my soul, in my integrity. And I think that's really huge. I think that's powerful stuff. But I also think he writes this, again, in the early 20th century after hundreds of years of oppression. So I said earlier, I don't want to paint this brushstroke that anyone who feels different gets double consciousness. They might get the basic concepts of double consciousness, and I can agree with that low level. But when he writes this, he's writing this in a way that is on the heels of all of this oppression. So I don't think that we can really understand the depths of double consciousness unless we have experienced that same level of oppression, unless we've experienced that same history where for the past hundreds of years, my group of people, again, whether that be women or homosexual or a certain religion, have experienced that same kind of threshold of oppression. And in the United States, I think that category specifically resonates more with African Americans than any other category.